Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
In the U.S., there's a break-in every 26 seconds. But when intruders step near, Simply Safe Home Security steps up.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on the way.
Using AI alerts, U.S.-based live agents help deter break-ins. Simply Safe, no long-term contracts. Save 50% on your new system with professional monitoring at simplysafe.com/SXM or with promo code SXM.
Outdoor deterrence requires a Simply Safe Active Guard outdoor protection plan starting at $49.99 a month. Visit simplysafe.com/licenses for alarm license information. Tennessee 2012.
To get the Crime Writers on After Show right now, go to patreon.com/partners in crime media.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, what started as a buzzworthy paternity suit against an unpopular reality star turned into a bizarre tale of manipulation and obsession. We'll review Love Trapped from Glass Podcasts and iHeart Podcasts. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband and the love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Kevin, I'm pregnant.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
Let me see the ultrasound. Unaltered, please.
Let me see the turkey baster.
Also with us, private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author of the Piper Green series of cozy mysteries, it's Laura Bricker. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Rebecca.
And finally, all the way from Valencia, Spain, author of the City Trilogy, host of Rip Current, More Like Ancient Aliens, and the podcast soon to be a major motion picture, Strange Arrivals, it's Toby Ball. Que pasa, Toby?
Hola, buenas.
Oh, boy, Kevin.
Yes.
This is Thursday's program. Mm-hmm. I see something coming up next week that literally everyone I know is talking about.
Oh, yeah?
What's coming up on next week's programs?
Yeah, so coming up on next week's shows, we're going to talk about, on Monday, the Netflix buzzworthy show. It's called The Crash.
Yes, it's a documentary.
It's a documentary. And then on Thursday, a week from today, we'll talk about the podcast City of Lights.
The Crash is one of those things that I see literally everyone talking about on our page, on the I Think Not page. I hear about it on podcasts. And I don't know if we're going to like it, but apparently there's stuff to talk about it. So I'm looking forward to at least seeing what everyone's talking about, as I was with this thing that we listened to. So should we start?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, leading off.
That night I was looking for a hookup, 1,000%. I assumed we both were on the same page because she was coming over at 8 o'clock at night on a Friday. We know why you're coming. You just sent me a photo of your ass.
Clayton Echard was trying to bounce back from his disastrous appearance on The Bachelor when he hooked up with a potential real estate investor. Though he claimed they only had oral sex, Laura Owens said she was pregnant with his twins. What came next from her was an unrelenting mix of romantic overtures and legal threats.
It pains me that you won't even consider giving me a chance. You've tried a lot of things, but you haven't tried me, who actually empathizes and has been in dark spots like you've been in. And God, what if you just honestly and openly gave it a week to be open to something maybe eventually happening with absolutely no expectations?
Clayton became suspicious of Laura's evasive actions to prove her pregnancy was real. When the reality TV scandal hit the news, internet sleuths began to pick apart her story. And information emerged that the former Bachelor was not the first man Laura had accused.
There are so many layers to this story that you peel back one, couldn't get crazier. Oh, surprise, there's another layer. And it just keeps going. Restraining orders, a criminal investigation, and also just the hope that at the end of it all, someone's going to be held accountable.
From Glass Podcast and iHeart Podcasts comes Love Trapped. Host Stephani Young goes deep into all the twists and turns in the sensational case involving a reality TV celebrity, an unreliable accuser, and the online community obsessed with the story. The series explores whether Laura's unwavering insistence and her dubious claims are a long con or the product of a disturbed mind. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about plot points from Love Trapped. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for our thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. So, Toby.
Yes.
Laura Owens is somebody that the internet has really turned into this character of like pure villainous, evil doer kind of stuff. And this is a very long podcast talking about her story and her interactions with 3 men in particular, although we hear that there's a 4th that we don't really get to know at all. It's long.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about the existence of this show?
So first of all, before I get into everything else, like I'm not like here to say that Laura's behavior is okay, and I think she's not like the good guy in this thing. But my sense from just about the beginning, especially how long is it? We spend about 10 hours listening to basically a takedown of this woman who seems quite clearly mentally ill. Like, I don't think there's any question about that, although they don't really get into that until the very, very end. You're like 9.5 hours in before they bring that up.
Since the very start of this production, my team and I have been talking about the larger impacts of sharing this kind of narrative. If just retelling it perpetuates this negative stereotype about women, and how we can minimize that. In the end, this is what I've come to.
And then they sort of congratulate themselves for their self-restraint. And then they're like, we haven't called her crazy yet. It's like, well, that's not really the way to go about it either.
Yeah.
And then sort of reveling in this social media vitriol that sort of directed her way as a part of this. And all, because she makes this claim, like she's not a criminal mastermind. She makes a claim that is easily disproven. The end game, there's just no end game to it. I mean, it's not thought out to the point where she's going to actually gain anything. I mean, it's kind of a ridiculous ploy. And it's on this guy who's on The Bachelor. I mean, he's fine. Like, this guy is taking hip hop classes and, he's got his real estate business going. He wants to do an add-on for his Airbnb thing where he goes and does the rose ceremony to people who, I mean, it's just the whole thing. It just felt kind of ugly to me, quite honestly. I mean, it just felt like it was punching down on somebody. And really, it's not like she really deserves sympathy necessarily, but...
Oh, she's maddening, Toby.
She's maddening, but the reason is not that she's a criminal mastermind. The reason is that she's got mental health issues, and the glee with which this podcast takes every detail, every piece of social media bad-mouthing her, I just found really, really troubling. As I assume we'll go into more details as we go through this. I just found this to be sort of a wildly inappropriate way to cover this story.
It's interesting, Toby, because I do think there's something to explore here, whether or not you agree, about a person with this kind of pathology existing in the age of social media. Because my experience with a person who I would say is strikingly similar to this, my secondhand experience, because someone I know has been dealing with somebody like this, and they actually sort of come into my world too, because I make a podcast with Mel, and now they've created a fake account where they're targeting Mel. It's a whole thing. Is that when you have somebody with a pathology like this, the existence of that kind of media gives them an outlet to basically advertise what they're doing to the world. And it's almost like, what do you do with that when someone is basically marketing their own nuttiness to everybody, even though like whatever empathy you might have is really kind of like, to me, degraded by the fact that no one in their life probably understands that they're on the internet doing this. So like, what are you supposed to do? I don't know, Laura, it's complicated because that's the one.
She's weaponizing.
The one thing the podcast doesn't try to do is talk about the culture around this in a critical way.
Right. And I think she's weaponizing the court system.
Yeah.
And I understand she's mentally ill, but on some level, there needs to be a remedy when somebody is doing something like this, because she's really attacking in a way that can't be stopped. Yeah, it's easily disproven, but she doesn't stop. Yeah. So at what point is there something in place to put some checks and balances on this?
Yeah. So, Laura, as soon as you heard she was a horse person, did you know she was going to be off the rails?
Yeah, horse people are always crazy.
What's up with horse people? What is up with that?
It's just something about horse people. It's like cat people. And especially when she was like off at the horse show and she's like bankrupt. And I'm like, do you have any idea how much those horses cost in those hunter jumper shows? She is not bankrupt.
Right.
Laura knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura knows.
No.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Laura, I agree with you. There needs to be consequences. And Toby's not wrong that maybe our main victim here is not as sympathetic or as, like you said, he's probably going to be fine. But remember, he's not the only victim here, right? And when you hear about these other guys and what she has done to them and continue, the effects that her, we'll say, unsupported claims have done to their lives, it's very sad.
Claims. That's so generous.
Well, I'm using legal parlance,
okay.
Right? It's the court system doesn't like saying it's false, it's a lie. They like to say it's unsupported.
Laura Owens is going to write us a 10-page email after.
Fine, whatever. Whatever. Go for it. It doesn't matter.
Look at this picture of this ultrasound that I found on Etsy. This is not an unsupported claim.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, whatever. Here's the deal. That there ought to be consequences. And I'll tell you, as somebody who, may or may not have taken part in civil proceedings where somebody's claim is so overtly unsupported that you feel like you're the one losing your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Then, there are stakes.
Right.
I found this story to be really super juicy. I have other concerns about it. But yeah, I mean, you're right. He may not be the Bachelor. And it's funny because apparently, like, going into most of the story, they're like, oh, this is the most hateable Bachelor. So it might be somebody you want to fucking dunk on. But when you see what's really going on, you really get drawn into her doubling down and tripling down and quadrupling down on a story that ought to be pretty easily refuted. But because she won't, it ends up making for a really interesting story.
I just kind of want to clarify that it's not like lack of sympathy for it's really the coverage. Like it's more the journalism around this show.
Yeah.
And what it's signaling, what it's taking seriously, what it's not taking seriously, how it's framing the story. I found objective. Like I feel bad for those guys. Like that it's a shitty place to be, and she's the one who's responsible for it. So
I have a question for you, Toby, because I have sort of one foot in a world that I know is completely foreign to you, and that world is on prominent display in this podcast, which is the world of sort of like online bloggers who talk about very specific things being relied upon as like experts in this show. I would contend if they're talking about something related to pop culture, there's no better expert. But what do you think about them talking about like the legal matters and using these people as sources for, truth telling when it comes to digging up evidence and all that stuff? I'm curious to know your thoughts about that.
It seems weird. I mean, I kind of felt as though like this is made by somebody who's in that community and takes these voices seriously and feels as though sort of the larger sort of Bachelor Nation, I think they kept calling it. What was it? What is he called? Reality Show Dave or something? I can't remember. Sideshow Bob.
You mean not Schnitzel Ninja?
Think about it, Toby. I would encourage you to think about it sort of like fandom of sports. You know how like sports fandoms has like a name like, like what are the terrible towel people called? The Pittsburgh people?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then
Steelers
there's also...
fans?
Steelers fans. But also like, the Chiefs Kingdom or whatever. And then there's like radio shows about just that team. And there's like it's very similar to that, I think.
I get that, but are you going there? Are they supposed to be doing like investigations of women who like claim that they slept with Patrick Mahomes or something like that? That's not really like, I don't know of that happening. Mm-hmm. And then this whole like social, like essentially weaponizing social media, which again, beside like the actual reality of it, the way this covers it is so amused by it. Like she says things like, the people on social media came up with creative names for the fake babies, like the tonsil twins and the blowjob babies and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, that's super creative. That's the, what a bunch of, it felt like Mean Girls stuff, quite honestly. Yeah. And it certainly doesn't feel like journalism. If you're just going to throw that stuff out there, as you were saying before, it seems like the interesting thing would have been like, how looking at the media landscape or the social media landscape or whatever you want to call this and being like, okay, you start off with this guy who was hated by people in Bachelor Nation because, you know, he didn't follow the protocols of the Bachelor or whatever, the unwritten rules. And then suddenly he becomes this hero to all these people and everybody rallies to his side and stuff. Like, that seems kind of interesting and all that, but sort of reveling in these like mean comments that people are making about her on social media.
Yeah.
To me, it just left a bad taste. I'm like, like, how do you take the rest of this seriously if this is your attitude about like this sort of juvenile stuff that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Rebecca, you would get this, that there are, I think, parallels between this case and like the attention around the Karen Reed case, where you are the extended universe, right? And you've got people here who come in new to these stories and they're curious and they start to get intrigued. And there are people that are way down the rabbit hole.
Like me.
Knows every detail, right? Knows where everybody went to school and have looked at the, X-rays and / ultrasounds and everything like that. And
what are you saying, Kevin?
So I'm saying that you can relate to that, right? And that happens in all sorts of cases. I'm wondering whether or not this is made for somebody like me who is new to the case but finds a lot of it compelling, or if it's made for this, we'll call them the super fans. Yes. And I don't know. I don't know if the super fans are gonna, I'm sure they'll give this a thumbs up because it tends to.
They love it, Kevin.
They tend to enjoy the idea of the editorial slant or whatever. But I think also it being written by people who might be, I don't want to say super fans, but might be so deep in their own research that this is how you end up with a podcast that ends up being 12 episodes plus multiple bonus episodes, because you just have fallen so deeply in love with everything that you have. And you end up writing something that, instead of making decisions about like what's important to include and what you can pare back and still tell an effective story, ends up going by the wayside, right? And I think that like if you really want like deep, thoughtful coverage of something, like say the Karen Reed case, you join us on Patreon.
Yes.
Right? At patreon.com/partners in crime media. Rebecca and Mel tell it exactly how you should tell it when they do their exclusive podcast.
Not always.
Something's off. If you want to see what a crime cult actually is, you should watch your video or listen to the audio version here on Patreon. Other great exclusive content includes the Crime Writers on After Show, Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast, Married with Podcast, our advice podcast, and Laura Bricker's Leave It to Bricker, in which Laura Bricker solves mysteries, or at least mysteries to her, in her quaint AF town of Exeter, New Hampshire. Now, Toby Ball's Deep Divers are getting together. They recently talked about the book Chaos. And Toby, what's the name of the book that everybody should be reading now for the next episode?
It's called The Other Side of Prospect, and it is by Nicholas Davidov.
Is Prospect the name of a street? Is that?
It's the name of a street in New Haven that sort of divides two class-based neighborhoods.
Nice.
Okay. It's like the other side of the tracks, but in suburbia. Because there's no trains in suburbia.
There are trains in New Haven, though.
Yeah, New Haven's pretty urban.
It's pretty trainy.
I think, is it the Northeaster?
The Nor'easter. The Downeaster. That's the one that goes up to Maine.
Yeah.
But they have Metro North in Connecticut. They've got all kinds of
What's the Boston to Washington to New York to that line, that Amtrak line?
I don't know, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about Amtrak. We're talking about the Metro North.
Okay, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for bringing it up.
Look, if you want to go to New York from New Hampshire, the easiest way is to drive to New Haven, park in the parking garage, and then take the train down to Grand Central.
Did you glean that from the book?
No, I think people do.
No,
that's the way I go down to New York.
I've heard him talk about this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Get a 2-hour train ride, kick back, have a beer.
A lot of reading.
Listen to the podcast you have to do for.
That's right. Listen to some of this whatever that's called that we listen to.
Yeah.
Love
Trapped.
Love Trapped.
Love Trapped.
Yeah. Another way to support our show is to check out our Amazon storefront, where you can see some of our favorite things. Rebecca, can you tell us what are this week's Amazon recommendations?
So I'll just recommend something that I did not buy for myself, but that somebody bought for me on Amazon, which is the Ninja Frozen Slushie Making Drink Machine. It's incredible.
It's professional grade.
It's professional grade, does not use ice. You just put liquid in it, alcoholic or not, and it turns it into a delicious frozen slushy drink. Thank you very much to the person who sent it to me. I still don't know who you are, but I would love to find out.
So like you could put alcohol in too, not just Kool-Aid, right?
You know.
You can make...
We drink so many pina coladas this weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus, Kevin.
I did not have pina coladas.
Yes, you did.
What are you talking about?
You also had mango margaritas.
I did no such thing. I had orange juice and vitamin C.
Yes.
Okay. But Toby Ball, you also have great recommendations from your listener-inspired Toby Ball's Deep Cut recommendations.
Yeah, I actually... people probably don't know this, but between Christmas and New Year's, I became a great uncle. My nephew and his wife had a very, very cute baby who I haven't met yet because I'm in Spain and they live in the United States.
So it's your fault.
Yeah, so it's my fault. But this is going out to him, my grand nephew. We're starting off with boogie wipes, gentle wet wipes for baby and kids' face, hand, body, and nose, made with vitamin E, aloe, chamomile, and natural saline fresh scent.
Nice.
What a good name.
Yeah.
Boogie Wipe.
Boogie wipes, yep.
Just not for the crack.
Love it. Great name for a product.
And we'll follow that up with the Frida Baby Eucalyptus Vapor Baby.
Ooh.
And Kids Bubble Bath.
A vapor baby?
Yeah, it's a vapor baby, and it's also a kids bubble bath.
It's a jewel for babies.
A body wash toddler and baby body wash dermatologically tested, tear-free, hypoallergenic, safe to, and then it doesn't say what it's safe for.
Oh, bummer.
Great. Now, you can shop us first when you go to Amazon, amazon.com/shop/CrimeWritersOn. We earn commissions on qualified purchases.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Before we end this fine business section, do we have any Patreon patron saints of the week this week?
Our Patreon patron saints are Sarah Cole and Jacqueline Bolio. Bless you.
Sarah and Jacqueline, I'm sorry if it's Bolio. We decided to go with Bolio. It was just a last-minute decision there. Thank you so much for supporting the show on Patreon. It really is how we keep the show going. We are a mature show with a very niche audience, and we rely on audience support to be able to make it. So you guys are a huge part of that, and if you feel like joining Jacqueline and Sarah and not being a freeloader, you can also join us on Patreon. We really, really appreciate your support there. But if you can't do it, I understand. It's fine. Just know that you could be Patreon Patron Saint of the Week one day if you do. Right, Kevin?
I love it when people sign up, like Sarah, and say, like, I have been a listener since 2017, 2018, wow. and now I'm in a position to support you on Patreon.
It's wonderful.
I love that, yeah.
Wonderful. All right, Kevin, does that end our business section?
Thus ends the business section.
Let's go ahead and fade that music out.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
So, Kevin, who's our sponsor for this program?
We're brought to you by Quince.
Ooh.
Hey, if you're trying to be more intentional about what you wear day to day, Quince can help with that. They've got pieces that feel easy, comfortable, and still put together, just like the sweater that Rebecca's wearing.
That's right. My sweater right now that I'm wearing is the oversized cashmere crew in navy and white stripe. It's nice and light, but warm enough for a breezy day. Perfect for spring, very like nautical inspired. I love this sweater so much.
Oh, you got it from Quince?
I did.
And what else do you get from Quince, Rebecca?
You can get jewelry from Quince.
And you have done that?
Yes, I have. You can get housewares from Quince, rugs, couches, anything you want. Gold bars, all of it.
We haven't done a couch or a gold bar yet.
Right.
But Quince has a whole bunch of stuff. They work directly with ethical factories to cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality and craftsmanship, not brand markup.
Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/crime for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too, eh?
Hey!
That's quince.com/crime for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/crime.
Crime.
You've got better things to do this summer than deal with old appliances. That's why right now at Lowe's, you can still get in on Memorial Day savings and get up to 45% off select major appliances. Plus, get up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. It's time to upgrade what's outdated. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/3. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
In the U.S., there's a break-in every 26 seconds. But when intruders step near, Simply Safe Home Security steps up.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on the way.
Using AI alerts, U.S.-based live agents help deter break-ins. Simply Safe, no long-term contracts. Save 50% on your new system with professional monitoring at simplysafe.com/SXM or with promo code SXM.
Outdoor deterrence requires a Simply Safe Active Guard outdoor protection plan starting at $49.99 a month. Visit simplysafe.com/licenses for alarm license information. Tennessee 2012.
All right, so Laura, let's take Toby's guilt trip off the table about how irresponsible this podcast is for a second, shall we?
Yes.
What do you think about a person who doesn't just lie, deflect, do all this stuff, but does it so publicly, does it in a video, TED, X Talk, has a Medium blog, continues to go on social media, is listening to and responding to the podcast in real time? For someone who says they just want to be left alone, that's not what they're doing. It's a strange pathology, right?
Yeah, I wish we had gotten a little bit more into, like, they're like, we're not going to diagnose her, and she's given herself all these diagnoses. But I was really curious about, like, what was her background, more so that there's something. I mean, I don't think this is an understood. Something is very off here.
You think
the level? I mean, it's like I've never heard anything like this, and to do the same thing over and over again, and then even when she's caught in lies, she just continues to lie
under oath,
and it's wild. So I felt like I wanted a little bit of. I was like, I would love to hear some professional analysis of, like, what is going on here, and how do you deal with a person like that? Like, what is the course of action when you're dealing with somebody like that?
Yes.
That even when you're confronting them with written statements of their own writing that differ from what they're saying now, they still make up another story. I'm like, how do you even deal with this?
Right. I actually, that's actually the angle that I am interested in, is because people like this do exist, and they exist in droves on the internet. But is not engaging the answer? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Is just being sympathetic and, saying, oh, I'm so sorry you're not doing well, and then leaving them alone the answer? No, I can tell you with experience that is not the answer either. They will call your workplace and talk about you to your boss and all this weird, bizarre stuff. But Kevin, there's one aspect of something that I want to ask you about. Laura's parents, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Listen to you. We hear that her dad was just a well-known radio host. We hear her mom. We hear, I think, one of the more sympathetic characters in the podcast is this guy, Michael, who actually dated her. They didn't just have a brief encounter. They actually dated for a long time. And the parents seemed deeply invested in them staying together, even as he was being kind of honest about the fact that he wanted out. Granted, part of that was because of a text he sent to the wrong person. But I kept thinking about that. We were just talking about the Twilight Zone, the movie, and that one segment where the kid was holding his family hostage.
Right, yeah.
And like the family was all pretending to be like, no, he's awesome. He's great. I don't know. What do you think?
It's sort of coded as codependency, particularly between her and the mom.
She and her mom just spent all day, every day together and had this very strange relationship. Laura could do no wrong. Laura did what she wanted with full unbridled support of her parents. You want a new horse? You get it. You want a new saddle? You get it. You want this? Just order it.
But, we can't know that. But I mean, it's certainly the fact that the parents are playing a role in the narrative. At first I felt like, oh, this is too bad. These seems like very accomplished people, and they have a very troubled daughter. And they're probably looking for ways to support her, but they I was assuming that they would have one foot in reality, right? And it just seems like they are either enabling something or that they also believe some of these things. It's just hard to like be so committed to the thing, the things that your kids say when they are obvious lies, or at the very least not thinking, hey, this is the 4th time this has happened to you. Gotten pregnant by some guy who got really suspicious, and
maybe don't use a photo of me with my hand on your sister's stomach and pretend that it's you in court.
Yeah, so the fact that they were, that they were in this and somehow an active participant really puzzled me. Yeah. But it added some sort of depth to it. And you're like, well, where does she get support? I'm like, well, it's not there.
Right, but meanwhile she's spending all their money.
Right.
She's putting them in the middle of these legal cases. We hear that they're like going bankrupt. Do you think they'd be going bankrupt if this wasn't one of their kids? Like, I don't think they would.
Probably not.
I don't know. So
weren't you curious about the sister? Like, what's her story?
Yeah, because she seems to be living outside of this little circle. And
that's what I mean.
She's probably
what's
thriving.
The situation there?
I don't know. I felt very bad for these old people. I really did. And I'm like, even when I heard them on tape saying enabling things, I'm like, I know she's ill, but they're living with a psychic terrorist is what they're living with. And they have completely capitulated because that's the only way they know how to exist and pretend to be a happy family. Maybe that does make them happy. Who knows? But there is this scene, Toby, that's kind of like weird and telling. And Laura has this incredible reaction when the police come to search her place and like interview her and stuff in the very early morning, and she's so fixated on her parents and she's so fixated on the fact that it's 7 a.m. and she's screaming and it's histrionic.
You guys break in or something? I'm concerned about my parents. Laura, you guys have your guns drawn right now.
Our guns are not drawn. Nobody's
that
pointing.
Looks like I can't tell
is
through
anybody
the screen.
pointing a gun at you?
You know what?
Laura,
do my parents know that somebody's here?
Yes, we have officers talking with your parents right now.
It's a bizarre sort of scene and very troubling. What do you think, Toby?
Yeah, it is. And just in and of itself, it's troubling. I had a hard time separating it from the way that the host was sort of inserting herself into this tape that you're listening to, because, it's this, the cops are trying to like calm her down and sort of fairly gently, but firmly say, no, this is fine. Like I'm sorry, we're waking up your dad, but we've got a warrant, and she's just going off. But instead of just kind of letting it play out, the host keeps coming in and be like, for the record, they're being very gentle with her.
It doesn't look like they're using excessive force, but Laura feels otherwise, and she's not quiet about it.
Please, you're hurting me! You weren't! You were hurting me!
For the record, they are acting with extreme deference in this situation, or her father is not in distress, or she keeps like kind of putting these things in, and it's not like just observational. It's like, oh, these cops are super nice and she's just being a freak, which may be what's happening. But the fact that for this entire series, that's been her attitude towards everything, it's just like, you could be right, but I don't necessarily trust you to like be giving me a sort of neutral observation about what's going on. And it just goes on and on and on. Like, I don't know how long it was, but it was like, I don't know, 7 to 10 minutes probably. I mean, it just...
Well, Toby, it was the length of time for me to drive from the federal courthouse in Concord to Bagel Works in Concord, stand in line, order my bagel with extra cream cheese and salmon, wait for it to be ready, get that, fill my orange juice, put it in some ice, and leave the store and get back in my car and drive away. How long do you think that was?
Pretty standard time.
Yes.
That's quite a long time, but that's how you get 12 episodes out of this thing, is that there's just a lot of stuff where it's like, whoa, like there's this trial that they have and that they go into great detail about. And after a while, it's like, I've almost forgotten, what is this trial about?
Yeah,
and
it
the
all
trial
sounds the same.
Is actually about just sort of officially clearing the Bachelor guy's name from being possible paternity. Like that, That's what's at stake here. And they're just, I mean, they spend like half an hour on it or something. It's like, I feel like you could just quickly just say like it was determined legally, because it doesn't really add much to anything.
You're aware that Planned Parenthood has no record of an ultrasound for you, correct?
Under my real name, yes, I'm aware.
And again, we've established you didn't provide our office with the name that you allegedly went to Planned Parenthood under, correct?
Correct.
You never attended an appointment with Planned Parenthood in this case, Ms. Owens.
Yes, I did.
So anyway, I don't know. I'm a broken record.
No, the more interesting legal case, I think, is when Michael is trying to get rid of this restraining order that's ruining his life.
Right.
Yeah, that was really awful.
And learning that how hard it can be. And granted, I'm not saying I don't believe in restraining orders should exist, but this is like the rare case where it absolutely works against a person who didn't do anything. Like there's this whole thing about this woman who handed her a note on a plane about whatever. I don't believe a fucking even tiny bit. I mean, this is a person who has fabricated pretending to be somebody else.
There was a lot of stuff on that napkin. That must have been a big napkin.
Yes, and the idea that like, yes, there's an email that says it's a real person or whatever, but I'm like, this is a person who clearly makes up email addresses and writes to people from them. That's a thing we know she does. Laura, the podcast is very repetitive. It does this thing which makes me crazy, where you listen to episode 9, then you start episode 10, and it basically tells the story of episode 9 again before I do it. It's very repetitive, and one of the things that's repetitive is Clayton's non-sexual sex encounter, which was sexual, actually. God.
Do we have to, how many fucking times do we have to hear he got 2 blowjobs and she may have injected herself with a turkey baster or something in the bathroom? She only had oral sex with him, but twice. And then she went immediately in the bathroom. I'm like, every single time we had to hear about that.
What did he do for her? Like, that's what I wanted to know. He sounds like he sucks in bed.
Yeah, I'm like, so he went twice and she went what?
Sounds like 0 times.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He seems like the kind of person who would tell us if he also gave her pleasure in some way.
Yes.
I don't feel like he'd keep that a secret. Do you, Kevin?
Well, he told America on The Bachelor. Yeah, I probably would have. But I don't know. Is that relevant?
Kevin, what do you think about that? What do you think about the production?
They did jam a whole lot of stuff in. So you would have thought that if that were, they would have mentioned something like that. But what were you asking me, Rebecca?
What do you think about the production of this podcast, the repetition, the length, like all? Did you think it was repetitive and sort of poorly put together?
Well, I mean, I think I'm thinking about Glass Podcasts formatically for a second. Yes, because we've done a couple of these, and I just feel like they always try to do like the things that we say are the best practices, and sometimes it clicks and sometimes it doesn't. I'm thinking like the Confronting OJ podcast with Kim Goldman, and then Nancy Glass herself comes on. The two of them, or I forget who they were. They were interviewing somebody like OJ's manager or something like that. There it worked. Burden of Guilt was fine. For as much for a lot of this podcast, in the front half of it, I thought it was doing a very good job at storytelling and doing things like signposting and whatnot. But when we ended up getting to things like the deposition and then the trial and then the police audio and then the bankruptcy case and then
the bankruptcy
following going to the the hearing and all sort of the behind the scenes stuff, there just was really too much, and so more was more. And I felt again we said not only is it just rare that we have like 12 episodes, but the episodes are also like 45, 50 minutes long, an hour long.
An hour and 15 in some
So it
cases.
isn't like they're just stretching, right? They are just putting everything they possibly can, and a lot of it, it does get repetitious. And because I think the story is strong enough on its own, I was intrigued by it. I'm just as enraged when you hear her deny and deny and deny. But then we also hear her deny and then deny and deny and deny and then and then deny and deny. Like there was just sort of an abdication of the storyteller's role.
Right.
And it needed a stronger edit. And I do praise the fact that this is the reason why bonus episodes were invented. Right? You've got too much stuff and it doesn't go in. These are like the footnotes for people, or these for the people who are the super fans and they want to hear all of that deposition or whatever. This is the place for that, because you can skip them, but if you're really into it, then you can go into it. And you don't have to jam it in. And then all of a sudden, now that series is 20 episodes long, right? When it could be told, it could have been told better, shorter, right? It needed a stronger edit, because I think everybody I think has landing different places on the actual story here and whether it's told well. I think the story itself is fascinating, and of course, and I felt like I'm rooting for these guys because this was just, like Laura says, there needs to be accountability when you're abusing the court system, you're affecting people's lives. But I think it could have been told much sharper.
The only other thing I would say is there's a few times when Clayton will say things that just feel completely out to lunch about their relative fame, I guess, or what his fame is like during that ridiculous trial about whether he's like officially like not the father of these kids who didn't exist or whatever. He's like, oh, I showed up and I had all these people on my side of the court and she only had 4. And I thought that said a lot. I'm like, yeah, it says that you're a celebrity and she isn't. Like, it's like these aren't your close personal friends. These are people who are following you on social media.
The Justice for Clayton people.
Who want to see it. And then later he's like, if this had just been a guys movement, like defending me and stuff, that'd be one thing. But I'm really happy that it was women, and that really shows up. I'm like, no, it shows you that your fans are women. Like these are your fans. It's not this like women ganging up to like slut shame this woman. These are people who are following you because you're on The Bachelor and they think you're hot or whatever. And again, it's just like this uncritical. There's like no comment about it. It's just like sort of approving. Oh yeah, he clearly, she's got nobody. He's got all these people. And it's just like an observation. It's like, do you not understand that there's a dynamic here? Like, are you just going to ignore it? Do you not care? Like, what's going on?
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
You've got better things to do this summer than deal with old appliances. That's why right now at Lowe's, you can still get in on Memorial Day savings and get up to 45% off select major appliances. Plus, get up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. It's time to upgrade what's outdated. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/3. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
In the U.S., there's a break-in every 26 seconds. But when intruders step near, Simply Safe Home Security steps up.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on the way.
Using AI alerts, U.S.-based live agents help deter break-ins. Simply Safe, no long-term contracts. Save 50% on your new system with professional monitoring at simplysafe.com/SXM or with promo code SXM.
Outdoor deterrence requires a Simply Safe Active Guard outdoor protection plan starting at $49.99 a month. Visit simplysafe.com/licenses for alarm license information. Tennessee 2012.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about. Like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW. Let us surprise you.
All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know. Should they check out the podcast, Love Trapped? Laura Bricker, thumbs up or thumbs down for Love Trapped?
So I'm going to go thumbs sideways on this because I think there is an audience for this podcast in the current format. And I think it's the audience that's probably already been following this case and wants every juicy detail. So we listened to 12 episodes and they were like an hour long, 12 hours. Most of those episodes had 1, 2, sometimes 3 bonus episodes. They had all the body-worn camera audio, the court audio. They had audio about the audio. It just went on. And here's the thing. I think that this is an interesting story. I think this is an interesting story because we don't typically think of men as being victims in that domestic violence and also in the court system in the way that we're seeing here. I think that's an interesting story to tell. I think there's an interesting story to tell about this woman, Laura, who's on the other side of this and what's going on with her. Unfortunately for me, because this is so long and there's a lot of parts that are very repetitive, I didn't really get that story. I got every single detail that I ever wanted to know that maybe I didn't want to know, sometimes 5 times over and over again, which I was not the audience for. So I can't say thumbs down because they have a lot of information here. They've done a lot of work. The production quality is good. But for me, it was just too much.
Toby Ball, thumbs up or thumbs down for Love Trapped?
I really dislike this podcast. I'll start off by saying the story itself is like kind of interesting. And I think there are interesting things you could do with the story. Instead, this just seemed like in too much sort of like Mean Girl stuff. The edit, the side that the host, I guess, journalist was on is so clear from the beginning. The commentary that she gives is so slanted and not contextualizing or sort of examining situations. Like I think you can feel strongly about, who's to blame, who's the victim, all this kind of stuff, but also present a picture of it that is, even if it's not nuanced, at least is like looking at the context in which this is taking place, what some of the questions are about what's happening, and even the things that would make, the victims in this whose side she's like so firmly on, just examine what makes this so difficult. Instead, it's just this it's just nonstop. It's just all this information, all this stuff with what felt to me like a finger on the scale, and then quite a bit of just sort of mean-spiritedness, a lot in a way that didn't feel to me very journalistic. It kind of felt like piling on, and it seemed to be sort of more of a type of what you would find on social media rather than in a supposedly reported podcast. And I think the other thing that I had a hard time kind of wrapping my head around was that there seemed to be a lot of importance put on what the reaction of people in social media or within the sort of the Bachelor sphere or whatever, what they felt. So there were times when she would sort of talk approvingly about how, that didn't play well on social media, or read sort of snide social media comments, kind of with glee, oh, come up and
you're never going to believe what Schnitzel Ninja had to say.
I kind of found, I really did. I had a really hard time listening to it. I found myself sympathizing with the bad person more than I ought to, just because I felt like she wasn't, even though she is super, super problematic, is really making these people's lives horrible, that it didn't seem as though this was a very fair portrayal of what was happening. So anyway, I really, really dislike this podcast. And so I'm just a mild thumbs up. No, I'm a thumbs down, big thumbs down.
Sorry for making you listen to it, Toby. Kevin Flint.
Yeah, I'm a mild thumbs up. I get it. This story is juicy. It's compelling. It's intoxicating. And I feel like we were overserved. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff here, from the source material, a lot of good tape, but this really needed, what brought this down is this really needed a much stronger edit, because, right, it's not only is it 12 episodes, they're 12 long episodes and bonus episodes, and it just sort of indicates that the editors could not distinguish what was important and what wasn't. And I think there are people that just love all the details. And I get it. If you love the details, this is delicious. You're going to eat all of this up. You're going to want to hear virtually every question on the stand in this particular proceeding that she got backed up on. But, it sounds like I'm putting this down. I do have some, strong feelings about the length and the way that this was put together. However, was I drawn in? Yes. Do I have an opinion about these people? I absolutely do. And is it naturally frustrating to hear somebody just deny the plain truth over and over again? Does it make you want to go, what the actual fuck? Yeah, I was at what the actual fuck early on. I can't disagree with the negative things that people have said, but nonetheless, I found this, for lack of a better term, entertaining. So I have to say it's a thumbs up. It's a mild thumbs up because I think they could have done a better job with sort of packaging this, but mild thumbs up nonetheless.
I respect it, Kevin. This is a really hard one for me. As somebody who streams for 6 hours a week about the toxic online community, which involves people very much like Laura Owens, like we talk about stuff like this all the time on Something's Off, because the reason I talk about it is because to me, there actually is a story to tell that people maybe, if they're interested in, should understand about the culture, the online culture that feels like it's real life to some people, that way that drives people to behave, the way that sort of journalism and investigation and social media and the online world kind of interact. I always said that the one huge story the Boston Globe missed on the Karen Reed case was the online misinformation campaign that continues to this day of people clearly hired by the people who are much more likely to have killed John O'Keefe than the one who definitely didn't. There's a whole world there that I find very fascinating. And I think there's a very good podcast to be made about that. And I think that there's a podcast to be made about that while acknowledging the sensitivities of people who are drawn into this space. People who are drawn into this space have problems. This is a thing that I have noted again and again and again and again. Even as I'm in this space now, and there's a lot of positivity for me in this space. Like I've connected with people like Bob and Ali Mata, for instance. There's a lot of law tubers that I've become really close with, like lawyers who have really great channels. But there is like a trashy neighborhood in this space where people think they are on a quest for justice and they are just toxic as fuck. So the reason I have mixed feelings about it is because I think that somebody could very easily pull a 15-second clip from one of my shows and be like, you're being so hypocritical right now. You just talked about somebody like with a name like Sparkly Rabbit or whatever. That is a real name, and I'm not actually talking about you, Sparkly Rabbit. Just using your name as an example. And you just said XYZ, but like that is the nature of these worlds. I do think that there's a great podcast to be made that it uses this story to explore that. Why someone like Laura Owens, for instance, is like pulled into this kind of online world. She's pulled into it likely because it sort of heightens her sense of importance and feeds into all the mental health stuff that's going on. I've seen this over and over and over again in the last 2 years, and I do think there's something very interesting here. That being said, to me, this podcast started juicy and intriguing, as Kevin said, and then just got, as podcasts go, progressively more boring as it continued on. You know, it's like we have this sort of reckoning episode at the end, which is just too little too late. It's so dumb. The structure is all fucked up. It's just not, it's repetitive. It's not interesting after a while. And there's a lot of questions that are just on their face right there that the host of this podcast doesn't even attempt to tackle, even as you're learning about all this other stuff that if you're not a super fan, as Kevin said, you don't actually want to know. So yeah, I'm a thumbs down for this for some of the reasons that Toby said, but not all. For some of the reasons that you said about structure, but not all. But I just didn't enjoy listening to it. Like I was like, I do acknowledge there are people who will love this. I get it. It's not for me. Right. Even though it makes me seem like kind of a fucking hypocrite. So anyway, thumbs down for me for Love Trapped. All right, that's going to do it for us. But before we go, Laura Bricker, do we have a cat of the week this week?
So our cat of the week comes to us from our my Brichter Scale group, the Rage Walking True Crime Fun group on Facebook, Sarah Lynn Jones. And Sarah Lynn was trying to send me a DM on Instagram. So I actually came over here and sent it. Grace Jones, her dog is pet of the week.
Grace Jones.
I'm sorry, this is another dog that has died, Rebecca.
Oh.
Grace Jones went on ahead last weekend, and it's been a struggle without seeing her happy self every day. We found her when she was a puppy in Florida, abandoned at a feed store. She went all over the country with me and traveled to 18 states and was the nanny dog to 4 boys over the past 15 and a half years. She loved hiking the ocean, muddy horse pasture ponds, and going along when we rode our horses, and loved playing goalie when any of the kids were practicing soccer. And there's a great picture of this dog with these kids in a Halloween costume, and the dog is giving them such stink eye, like, oh my goodness gracious. So I love the picture of the dog in the Halloween costumes, and I'm sorry, Sarah.
All right, Laura Bricker, folks want to reach out to you and submit their animals to be, it can be any kind of animal. It could be alive. I prefer alive. They could also have passed along. It could be an animal from pop culture or for the news, or it could just be your favorite cat. Laura Bricker, folks want to reach out to you and say, hey, I want this animal to be cat of the week. How can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Laura Bricker on Blue Sky and Instagram.
What about you, Toby Ball? How can you be found?
At Toby Ball 603 on Instagram.
What about you, Kevin?
I'm at Kevin P. Flynn.
You can find me everywhere, including X, where all the toxicity happens, at Reb Lavoie. You can find the show everywhere at Crime Writers On, including our incredible official Crime Writers On Facebook discussion group. Get everything we make at Patreon, including episodes that are early and ad-free at patreon.com/Partners in Crime Media. Our theme song was composed and performed by Tyler Givens, and the EP of this show is Kevin, and the editor is me. This show was recorded in the Caitlin Rogers Project Studio, also known as Studio C, The Closet, in our New Hampshire basement, where we also host mediocre podcasts with relatives and flip old horses for money. Laura Bricker did it. You know she did.
She did.
I did it.
On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later. That was great.
I think I want to change my handle to Schnitzel Ninja.
Yes.
No. I wanted more information about how she got that name.
I think she just picked it. Do you think she had a Schnitzel Ninja
I want to know what the
incident?
significance. I want to know what the significance was.
Do you think there's a significance to the name Schnitzel Ninja?
Yes, I want to know what's the backstory. Like, didn't you guys have any curiosity? I was like, what's the deal here?
Is that the one thing this podcast didn't cover?
All right, let's do. Okay.
Now I hit record.
Okay.
Yeah. And all of Toby's previous stuff.
I'm pregnant.
Yeah, right. Fuck off.
Again.
By an octopus?
Partners in Crime Media.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft, pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.